What's up everyone, Darcblade here with another video covering little things you may have missed shown off in the developer live streams for Monster Hunter Wilds at Gamescom. Now they've moved on to day 2. Now they actually got the multiplayer working this time, so we got to experience what a multiplayer hunt would be like. On top of that though, they also showed off another solo hunt and talked about various aspects of the game. But regardless, in this video we're going to point out some maybe minute details that some players may have missed, condensing down the live stream into a more digestible video. So first of all, when it comes to the combat and weapons, there was a few things that were shown off that you may have missed. For example, I meant to mention this in the last video, but the combat moves you perform actually get highlighted up in the top right of the screen. So normally you would have your list of commands up there, but when you actually perform a move, it moves from the command list over slightly and is more highlighted. This could be good when you're learning the moves and to confirm what you've performed. It's definitely going to help newcomers to the game. They also talked about mounting attacks in a bit more detail. For example, you can perform mounting attacks from your secret, to which after you've mounted a monster, you can perform light and strong attacks as well as special finishers. The light attacks are known as knife attacks, strong attacks are known as weapon attacks, and then the special attack is known as the draw finisher. During the live stream as well, when attacking with the knife and weapon attacks, a wound was caused. Now I don't know if this is tied to maybe just the strong attacks, we'll have to wait and see, but it looks like we can wound monsters whilst mounted. And of course, the drawn attack looks like a really flashy finisher. One aspect they touched upon and that we talked about briefly in the last video was luring pods. Now, luring pods obviously can be used to attract a monster to your attention. You get aggro to a monster. But one thing that was pointed out is that you can actually use this, rather than leading a monster to another monster, you can use this as a hunter to make yourself a pseudo tank of sorts, drawing the monster's attention to you, protecting your teammates. So this is going to be very useful for certain builds. Say you have a tank lance build or gun lance build, you can use these luring pods to make you even more tanky. They also showed off that when riding secret, your mount will actually dodge certain attacks. It is limited in number, but it can help your survival, it seems. Now, one aspect of the game that I was really wondering about was when it comes to focus strikes and slashes and multiplayer. Basically, are the wounds on the monster only visible for one player? But it seems that they're all shared between all players, and this also means that if one player performs that focus strike on that wounded body part and afterwards that wound closes, it means that the other players won't have a chance to perform their focus strikes on that body part until it reopens. So this is something to be mindful of. I do hope this doesn't mean that there's going to be a priority list to which weapon gets first dibs on performing a focus strike, but we'll have to wait and see. But one fun aspect was they showed off bombs at last. They showed off bombs a few times, to which they have wonderful animations now, and you can now roll the bombs, to which when they hit a monster they obviously explode. So it's good to see bombs are back in the game. Additionally, one aspect that was talked about but not really shown so much was optimal health recovery on the radial menu. On the item wheel you can select optimal health recovery, to which the game will choose what is the appropriate health item to use to heal the amount of health you've lost. So you won't be necessarily using a max potion to heal your health if you've only received a tiny bit of damage, which is good, but it also dumbs down things a tiny bit and gives you an excuse not to think. So it's a quality of life option, but then again it is an option. The developers also mentioned that you won't actually get the 2 weapon options right from the start of the game. They unlock. I assume they're story related, and they did say that you get this pretty quickly into the game, but it's something to be aware of. There was also a good example as well that was shown off during the live stream where your palico calls out that it's put down a shock trap. Now for me personally, this is one reason why I'm probably going to be keeping my palico speaking English, because I can't read and subtitles, I may have missed that prompt. But this is just a personal thing with me. Nonetheless, it was something that I did notice during the live stream. They also demonstrated a perfect evade move with the dual blades. So like we mentioned yesterday, we have the power clashes, we got the perfect evades, and I assume we're going to get the counter attacks, which are all basically reactionary perfect input moves that the various weapons have. Lastly, when it comes to combat, bowguns were talked about in that they have fixed ammo that will have infinite ammo, but not every single ammunition type they have will get that infinite ammo. So Apparently elemental ammo won't be infinite, but things like piercing, spread, and normal ammo types, even above level 1, can be infinite. But moving on to other aspects of the game, the environment and endemic life was touched upon. For example, they showed off sand traps that can be used to separate packs. Environmental lightning can also cause damage to monsters and hunters. You can see the lightning about to strike the floor, similar to the indicators when fighting Kieran in Monster Hunter World. I assume we're going to get other environmental dangers like this as we go through the game. These environmental hazards, as well as the bombs, and I assume other aspects of the game, also scorch the earth and change the landscape slightly. I was also amused to see Ryozo Tsutimoto showing us more than just combat during the demonstration. He was off fishing at certain points, which confirms fishing is back, as well as using the camera and the capture net to grab various endemic life. Personally, I adored this as he seemed really proud of the game, and to be honest, Monster Hunter, there is more to it than just hunting. I love capturing endemic life and taking pictures, so I'm really glad that they showed this off. But moving on to some more technical information, basically there's lots of customization when it comes to controls. They showed off the sheer amount of options you can have when it comes to editing your controls to what better suits your playstyle. They also showed off that focus mode can be a hold or toggle. So this should make things easier potentially for when it comes to this new mechanic. They also gave us a bit more information when it comes to the camps, as well as the foods related to your camp. They gave us a demonstration of how you go about creating pop-up camps, which are the little portable tents, so to speak, and how when you set them up, you get set locations where it will prompt you to set up a camp, to which it will give you a danger rating to how likely this camp is going to be attacked by monsters. So you have to take this into consideration when actually setting up your camps. I assume when the full game comes out, there'll be some form of resource needed to set up the camps, but in the demonstration, they didn't really speak about it. But moving on to talking about cooking, one thing that is more cosmetic than anything else, as we've already talked about details in regards to canteen buffs and your food, is the food now resembles whatever you put in the pot or frying pan. So if you put a fish in the frying pan, it will look like a fish that your hunter is eating. So a nice touch there. But finally moving on to some visual details, they touched more on the gender-free armor, meaning that you can wear both female and male designs of the various armor in the games. Layered armor has also been confirmed to make a return, but it will be later on in the game. I assume layered armor is going to be an endgame activity as always. And then finally, they did say that music is dynamic, which is a great touch, which means that music will change when a monster becomes enraged, or the pack shows up, or the weather changes. Monster Hunter has always had amazing music, and I cannot wait to hear how this dynamic music comes into play, especially with well-known tracks, such as the Teostra theme or the Zenoga theme. But there we have it, those are all the little things we've noticed with the day 2 of the Monster Hunter Wilds developer livestream. Was there something I missed, or something that you noticed that wasn't mentioned in this video or the last video? Please leave a comment down below. And until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you more news for Monster Hunter Wilds. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.